Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Perfect. All right. So if you guys have prompted, let's start mapping out
yeah,
some
let's
key
start
zones.
mapping.
Right. So me, I don't like to trade with any indicators because I believe that indicators, they're all lagging, especially EMAs, EMA 20, 50 week, 100 week. They can change at any given point because end of the day, they're just moving averages. So it averages out price action of the last 50 days. And then you have the EMA, but really you don't need any indicators. They all you need to know is pure price action and the fundamental news that are driving the markets. So there are no EMAs, no indicators, no RSIs. We don't need any of that. First thing we were going to do, we're going to start mapping out where the monthly candles have closed. Before even monthly, we could jump into quarterly candles. Because the higher time frame that you go, the more the candle tells you, right? And it's very important to know where the candle closed and why did it close there. So let's start mapping them out. So wherever the candles close slash open, we start mapping out the zones there. In a moment, you will see when we dive into the lower time frame that price action, it tends to move beautifully, absolutely beautifully, um, in these zones. So let's start that out. So
So
we
while
got,
you making these
we'll map it
lines,
down to
so everything looks, as
16K.
you said, beautifully, what type of
So we have the
strategy or
quarterly mapped
school?
out, and then we move over to monthly and start making any adjustments.
Yeah, so,
You can already see from the quarterly, we have moved into monthly, and you can see price moving beautifully between these.
mm-hmm.
Monthly, we don't need to. If anybody here wants to take a screenshot, you're more than welcome to and put it into TrueAI, so you can then evaluate the differences between my analysis and TrueAI's and see how TrueAI can actually build on top of my analysis. It could give
But
you
that will be
insights
cheating,
on
no?
where to enter. For me, I won't be able to see any of that, so it won't be cheating for me.
No, no,
I
no. I
will be
mean that will
giving
be
my
cheating for
analysis.
TrueAI. You will give hints. You will tell what to do.
No, no,
No?
no hints right now. That's what I'm saying. So right now, you could take a screenshot right now before any analysis is done. It's just the key levels that are mapped out. From here, take a screenshot, see what True AI provides. See,
Also, there is another
right. So we have.
question. Like, what type of strategy or school of thoughts do you use?
So I again, my strategy is I only enter at key price points. So like once I map out these zones, you'll start to realize what the key price points are, where I enter, where I exit. So let me just finish mapping them out, um, and then you'll see. And then we go into our weekly time frame. Yep, everything looks good here as well. We could, and then we jump into daily. Right, so now we have these levels marked out. They kind of act like cheat codes, right? Like, so we map these levels out on a quarterly, but on the daily, we could see price action moving absolutely beautifully. Like, for instance, over here, when we broke 170K, we came down 3 days. We failed to close below 101K. 101K has been marked out on quarterly, but it's being tested on the daily. 4 days we failed to close below. We failed to close below. Where do we push up to the next zone up? Right, the next zone is being 107,338. The price retested there on the dot before continuing with this bearish trend. So my strategy is I only like to take trade ideas when we hit these key price points. Um,
So
so we
basically,
have
you do the setup when something near the lines goes, right?
yes, yes. So
Okay,
once we make support or we make resistance at these key levels, that's where I take my entries.
okay.
So
One thing just like to see, uh,
mhm.
what's going on. Guys, who did the request to TrueAI? Can you send the text it provided based on the graph or something? So we will compare how it goes with this mapping here. Also, there was a question like long or short right now. Well, even I
Long or
can,
short right now?
yeah, I can
Yeah,
tell
you
that
go ahead.
right now it's very specific time. Right now, 1 hour, 5 minutes, or a day. What is your right now?
Based on based on the news that has been released, so let's go into Forex Factory, right? So somebody asked a question earlier, do you trade with the news? Um, yes, we do. Okay, so in the news, we saw today non-farm employment change has come out. America has added 50,000 jobs. 66,000 was the forecast. But we need to be careful because last month's report actually got revised from 64,000 down to 56K. So before there was going to be a difference that America actually lost 14,000 jobs, 66K minus 50K equals 16K. But now since the data has been revised, America has only lost 6,000 jobs. So it failed to create 6,000 new more jobs. That is bad for US. It's good for risk assets, but the what's it called? The impact has been lessened. Why has it been lessened? Because it has been revised. It's not a drastic change anymore. If they had not changed the previous month, if they had not revised the previous month, this would have been a drastic change coming with forecast from 66K down to 50K. In that scenario, you could have easily taken a long, everything would have pumped up, right? But now we need to be a bit more careful, especially knowing that the last monthly got revised and that the impact has been lessened. The next report that came out was unemployment. Previous unemployment was 4.6%. Forecast was 4.5%. Actual came out to 4.4%. This is actually good for USD and it's bad for risk assets. The reason why I know it doesn't make sense. Unemployment dropping should actually bring a rise into the stock market, but we're in kind of weird times with the rate cuts happening with the Federal Reserve cycles. So everything has been kind of flipped. So the worse numbers that we get from USD, the higher the chance for a rate cut. Um, in normal times, this should actually dump the markets, but now it will actually pump the market if bad data comes. So, reason behind that is because the market participants they're pricing in future rate cuts, right? So unemployment coming out lower than forecast, it actually shows the Feds they are on track. Um, Unemployment is not rising. Labor sector is it's okay. It's not doing that bad. We're not losing a ton of jobs. Inflation is not going back up. So this means that the Federal Reserve they can actually hold the rates instead of cutting them. So anytime you see bad USD data come out, it will actually pump the markets because then market participants they're going to again start pricing in a rate cut, and that's what's actually driving the markets right now. Fundamental wise is whether the Feds are they raising rates. Well, they're not going to be raising rates, right? Because they don't have the need to, or but are they going to be holding on to the rate cuts or are they actually going to be going through with a 25 or 50 base point rate cut? So for this data release, it actually pushes back the rate cut narrative. So short term, this is actually bad for crypto. It's bad for risk assets, and we could see some outflows. And then we had building permits come out. Building permits, they don't really make a difference to us.
Well, yeah, like
Housing starts,
the last two, it's about like real estate. Real estate usually doesn't really mix much for risk assets, no?
housing starts, yeah, it doesn't really make a difference
Mm-hmm.
to us. The next set of data report that's going to come out, it's at 10 a.m., so roughly 40 minutes from now, which is the consumer sentiment. The previous was actually, let's look into it. It was 53.3, but has been revised down to 52.9. The forecast is to come out at 53.5. Um, Above 50, great point. Anything above 50 is in the expansion territory, which means it's good for USD. Anything below 50, it's bad for USD. It's in the contraction point. So forecast is 53.5, previous 52.9. If we have a reading that is coming out above 54 or 53.7, we will see inflows into Dixie, the dollar index, or in simple terms, you will see inflows into USD and outflows from risk assets,
Okay,
including USD,
nobody
something like that.
sent the text from TrueAI. Send it, please, or I will do that myself. So let's
And
come
as
back to
for the
the
question,
yeah. Let's come back to the
yeah,
thing. So there was like, are there any tools or websites that you often use in trading that help you achieve such success? Well, there was the website basically now. One of.
yeah. So I use a Forex Factory,
Oh, it's not
or
allowed to
you could also
send.
use.
So moderators should be here, just like change it so yeah, so people can send it, like huge text or something. Is there a limit for this size, I guess, or something? Well, okay. Let's come back to the explanation of the chart a bit, and when the text will be, I will cover like we will cover basically together what's the difference and not.
Okay, perfect. Somebody asked a question about if there's any website I use. So the main website I use is Forex Factory, but Forex Factory is like if you know what you're expecting and you just want to see the numbers, it's great. But if you want to dive a bit deeper and you want to know exactly what it will, so like some people they might not know what non-farm payrolls is, right? So like me, I know what it is, so I don't really need to look into this. But if you were to go on to tradingeconomics.com, you could go into non-farm payrolls, and then it breaks it down for you over here. It will give you a summary. It will give you a chart so you can see the data that was released prior. And yeah, so like if you guys have like questions about like which data, so over here we see consumer sentiment is releasing, right? So you can then go on to trading economics, and if you don't know what that report is going to mean, you could come here. You can click here, and then it will kind of tell you like a brief explanation about what the report is, how it's calculated. Um, yeah,
Okay,
so
good.
let's go
So
back into our analysis. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so probably I will try just like to be on the safe side. Let's. Can you just zoom out a bit to the general
Yeah, for
picture?
sure. So this is actually on the daily time frame.
Okay, let it be anyway. So it's Bitcoin. If anybody missed
Mhm.
the point, the main thing we use. So
Yep.
yeah,
Okay. So let's go back
yeah.
into it. So looking at the daily time frame, we'll start off with swing trades, and then we'll come down into day trades, and then we'll come into scalping. By the time New York opens, price makes its whipsaw moves. We'll have our trade idea set up. Right off the bat, um, we can see for the swing traders entering right now, it's not worth it at all. We are currently in consolidation phase, in a ranging phase, where markets they're collecting liquidity, they're collecting orders before making a major move up. So we can see from 82K all the way to 94K, all we have been doing is ranging rate, going up and down, up and down. For the swing trader entering here or entering here, it doesn't make sense. All you're going to be doing is wasting your mental energy and just looking at the charts. Instead, we have very, very clean trade ideas. So right now we are in a bearish structure where we're making lows, we're making lower lows, lower highs, right? So that could be seen over here. We were consolidating from 107K to 124K. Once we finally broke below 107K, we retested it and we have been digging deeper ever since. But in the middle of December, we started ranging. In January now, we have made our upper wick. We don't have any lower wick. So we're currently digging a bit deeper, making that lower wick. For the swing traders, it would make a ton of sense to wait it out, have the daily closures above 94K, and then start taking buys up to 100K. This move alone is around 7K with 10, even with like 10x leverage. You're looking to make at least 100% back on your risk, right? So whatever you're risking. So that's the first trade idea is wait for the closure above 94K to enter into longs. Reason I'm saying is wait is because over here we could see at the start of the year when we started pushing up, everyone got bullish out of their minds and they're like, oh, we're the markets are back, we're so back, everything is just gonna continue to push up. But what we failed to see was that on the weekly and on the monthly, we had no lower wick, which we currently made right now, right? So this can actually dig as deep as 86K before pushing up to 94K. So again, for the swing traders,
And here
the
is the
first set of
moment.
entry.
Yeah, just a moment to clarify because there was a guy who sent the analysis from TrueAI, and just like pay attention to the screen from the guy that it sent that entry on the pullback for long is around 84, 86K. Just basically what you
Oh,
said.
perfect. Okay,
Yes.
nice to
So
see AI is
yeah, like
yeah.
that's the point. If you like want to start and try trading like without too much of like thinking, right? You just write like give me a trade plan for asset, right? And just like look for all of the stuff happening. It will analyze like just like for you to information like how much data True AI has like behind the hood, right? It connected to
Mhm.
approximately 7 different types of data sources, from news to internal data of basically how much liquidity goes in different assets and what the estimations of the upcoming stuff. So it really sees a lot, and like the main point that when you ask like something like ChatGPT and etc., it doesn't have the access to a whole sort of information. So that's the main problem with such systems that like people are coming to ask, but they don't know it doesn't know. That's the point.
Yeah.
So
And
here,
and it's also useful because like even if you're a newbie or even if you're like a bit experienced, it adds confluence to your trade ideas, right? So like just like Bowden just said right now. So like I said 86K, now the AI is also saying 86K. Now that boosts the confidence in that trade, right? So like my trade ideas are similar to the AI. That gives like that boost of confluence. Okay, AI is also thinking similar to me. This setup can be good. I can take risk here. So the AI could be good for both traders, right? So like the newbie, it will give it for the experience. You have your trade ideas, and then you could go and check in with the AI if the AI matches up with you or not.
yeah, but there is important thing just for you to understand. Like AI by itself, it doesn't know everything, and even as the
Hmm.
trader, you have to react to the things happening, right? So the very important thing that you have to ask for take profit and stop loss with everything.
Yeah.
So when you ask AI, you need to ask for a specific trade idea, but it has its like stop. and target, right? So
Mhm.
when you want to have less risk with the trade, you have to also remember about the thing called risk to reward ratio. Uh,
Mhm.
AJ, as far as I remember, it's like in your case, you like it to like 3 to 1, right?
3 to 1, yeah.
So basically, it's like you risk 1 to proximity of 3, like reward, right?
Basically, yeah. So what that means is like one win covers three losses.
Yeah. So when you do the setup between your like, uh, you also can do that within TrueAI, but the idea is that your target will be three
Mhm.
steps like longer from your like current price than stop loss.
Yes.
So that's the point. You also can ask it from TrueAI and it can do such setups for you, but it won't be something that will work in an hour usually, just because it's difficult to make it like that.
Hmm. So kind of to give you like a brief of how I traded this week. Um, when we made, I'm currently in a short position. So like when we first started pushing up this week, which was on Sunday, we saw that Sunday opened up without any lower wick, right? Usually each weekly candle, okay, if we were to go into the weekly time frame, you can see each weekly candle, it will have a top wick and it will have a bottom wick. It doesn't have to be 100%, right? Like over here, very minimal bottom wick. It's not 100% guarantee, and you can't solely just rely on wicks alone. But it's one of the things that I look at. Does it have a top wick? Does it have a bottom wick? No, it doesn't. It adds on to my trade ideas. Right. So the first trade idea that I had for this week is that we pushed up. We have the range highs over here. We try to break this range high one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 times we try to break it and we fail to close above. Without a lower wick and us instantly pushing up, in my mind, what I thought was we're pushing up without any upper wick. We're at the range highs. It makes a ton of sense to enter into a short position at 94K. Um, Entered at 94K, my stop loss was roughly at 96K. You need to always give your trades a breathing room. So like the trades can actually breathe, right? So like you would give it some room. It could go up, it could go down. The only way that it would have invalidated this trade idea was if we were to start breaking above 94, we start closing here, so we have 4 hour closures above, and then it would have invalidated. And I'm currently targeting around 87K, but this is my swing trade, right? So price can easily again come back here, retest 94K, come back. But since this is a 1 to 3 trade, what I'd like to do is once it reaches 1 to 2, which it reached yesterday, I like to take partial profit and set my stop loss at break even. So now this trade is now risk free. I've already taken partials. Even if the trade were to come back, hit stop loss, there is no loss to the trade, and I can always re-enter again. So this is how I kind of played it. Um, yeah, and then let's move into the new trade ideas, right? Because that's what everyone's waiting for here. So we covered the swing trade ideas. Swing trade ideas are if we are to break above 94K, we could start targeting 101K. If we start breaking below 86K and we actually close below, there's a very high chance that we will be testing 82K. So over here, um, we can look to set up another short position once we close below. Keyword is we a candle needs to close below, needs to retest, and then we can look into getting into shorts or getting into longs. That's on for the swing trades. Let's move into our daily time frame and start mapping out some key zones from there. Um, Key support that we could see in this range. Normally, I will tell everyone just to stay out. It's not really worth it to trade this range, right? Like you're going to be wasting your mental energy and forcing trades, right? There's no point of that. But if you're a day trader, you are a scalper, we could see that support has been made from we have a higher time frame support at 89k 89,500 roughly where price actually pushed off yesterday and I took advantage of that as well. So let's move on to the hourly. On the hourly, we could see we're currently sitting around 9,300. We have the data report coming in 24 minutes. New York has opened up. New York has a minimal top wick, and it has bottom wick, so that's good. Currently, we could see that the 8 a.m. candle, there's a resistance over here as well, right? So we created this order block. So what has price done so far? Let's look into that. We created this order block. We gather liquidity. Price, it broke below 8 a.m. has retested that high, the low of that order block, and has rejected it and is currently pushing down. So we could see that it will continue to push down into 89,200 before looking into any high risk, high reward longs. The other way I see high risk, high reward longs is that if we are to start closing back above 9,800. So this is scalping trade idea, right? This isn't high time frame. We're not going to be targeting higher ranges. We're going to be targeting low ranges. So over here, we could set up a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 setup. Currently, for somebody that asked if we were going long or short, we're not doing anything right now because right now price is in indecision, right? It's sitting in middle of a zone. It's better if we wait it out to see what reaction that we will get at 89,300, or if we manage to close back above 98.50. 9:30 candle, so New York has opened up. It has created its lower wick. It is starting to push up, but now it is key to see if this candle were to reject here or if it actually closes above, and then we can start moving above. So that's the high risk, high reward entries.
And
For
just a
lower
moment.
risk,
That was like partial answer about other specific times of day when you trade. Give a bit of more explanation
oh, I
about specifically of the time frame of different stock markets and how they influence.
Oh, are there any specific times of day when you trade? Sorry, I didn't read that question. Yeah, so for the swing trade entries or the day trade entries, I usually look to get into Asian session because if you backtest the data and you see Asia actually sets up the move and then the main move tends to happen during New York. Asia doesn't have as much volume as New York and London does. London, I sleep. So like I'm based off in North America, so I can't take advantage of the London sessions. I'm usually sleeping at that time. But for the day trades, I like to get in during Asian, set up my stop loss, set up my take profit, and they will run overnight. For scalping, I like to do scalping in New York sessions because New York it provides the cleanest volume, has the most volatility as well.
And another question, like how do you handle a series of consecutive losses? Well, I guess just like do not trade, or you have other way.
So like losses are inevitable, right? Like in any business, we need to trade. Okay, so we need to think that trading is actually a business, right? So instead of taking losses you take that mentally and you let that get to you. Instead, start thinking of losses as business expenses. When you set up a business is also going to have expenses, but you're not going to think of them as their losses, right? So any businesses, they have expenses. Like any business, crypto is also a business. You're trading every day. You're not doing this for fun. You are here to make money from it. Any business is going to have losses, right? But as long as you know that you have a system that works, the next trade can cover all of the losses. Um, you don't think too much about them, right? So me, if I take one loss, my thing is if I take two losses in a day, I'm done for the day. It doesn't matter if price is at my price point, if I know price is going to move up or not. You need to learn to walk away from the chart. You close your screen, you walk away from the charts. There, new day, new opportunity will come. So in short, you trust your system enough to know that you will make it back and you will make even more
Yeah.
instead of spiraling out of control.
Yeah, another thing which is very important here, because you can see how AJ basically provided the, like, opportunity, like, diapason, like the area of the opportunity here, right? Like this, like red zone, green zone. When
Mhm.
AJ said that you do not trade right now because the price action wasn't really there, there is no limit to put, like, let's say, like two orders, which is like a, not like a bet, yeah, but like educated estimation of possibility of the price going either direction. But that estimation just should be outside of the frames which are expected. Like something happens and goes much down, yeah, like it's basically like you are setting up for the possibility of the future short. Just
Mhm.
ask for, let's say, like, let ask TrueAI for providing like what the like stop loss and take profit is okay for such thing, yeah. Or just ask, like, we are in, like, I don't know, like, which numbers I need to set up two possibilities of long and short. Give me the numbers. It will probably give you the numbers just outside of the range which Ajay mentioned, because we were testing that probably for a month already. And usually the expectations by Ajay relatively correlate with the numbers provided by AI. I
Mhm.
cannot say even like how exactly it works because it just works, and that's kind of like the funniest part about AI, that it's difficult to explain why it works like that, but it just gives relatively good numbers when you're not trying to gamble. So that's the point here.
Yeah,
And another thing, we have a question. Do you
yeah.
rely more on technical analysis or
If it
market
works, you
behavior?
don't question it.
Yes, if it works, it works. But I'm just like providing you a bit
Yeah.
more of like how you can use AI without, like, of course we do not have this like 24/7 session of like having the possibility to ask trader how to trade, right? But you have AI 24/7 which you can ask. And just depending on the question, you will get the answer. You just need to ask the right question. That's why we are trying to provide also different types of prompts, because if you do the right prompt, it will give you the right answer. Yet, the question, do you rely more on technical analysis or market behavior like liquidity or volume?
Oh, I don't really look at like where liquidity is sitting. Volume is like like the days that there's going to be volume in the market and days that there are not going to be volume in the market, right? So like the days that there are scheduled data reports, there's going to be volume in the market. You know that you could take scalps and they will work out. There are going to be days, especially if it's like a bank closure day, right? There's not going to be any volume in the market, so you shouldn't really be sitting there looking for any trades either. Um, as for like the heat maps and stuff like that, I don't look at that. I look at like the raw price action, what's happening in front of me. I hope. that answers your question. How long do you hold swing positions on average? On swing positions till it hits my target. Right, like there's one position that I'm in. I've been in it for almost a year now. It's a 3x long from Bitcoin, and that long is running from, I believe it's from 76K. That's still running. Yeah, so I got in here in April. That long is still running. Like, I took partials at 120K, around 120. I took partials, but that long is still running. Swings, you could run the swing trades for months. There's really no answer to that question, right? Like swing trade, your take profit can be hit in a week, it could be hit in a month, it could be hit in a quarter. It all depends on like what your target is, how much you're targeting.
Yeah, I think it's also possible just to, like, let's imagine you have $1,000, right? It's kind of scary
Yeah,
to put something one huge, right? But if you will do daily one trade for 50 bucks, but you do that every day and with expectation of something happening throughout the month, you will have approximately 20 different trades which go by themselves. And this
yeah,
way you just like avoid huge losses and you have like this like huge system of things happening independently that basically save you from one huge mistake. How it happened multiple times throughout last month with some guys basically just blowing up millions for because. Oh, by the way,
exactly.
here
Yeah, so that
is
happened last month.
like the price going down.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like I said earlier, at the start of the stream, the data that came out, it's favoring USD, and we could see outflows from risk assets, right? So like the unemployment rate dropping, it favors USD because it pushes back on the rate cut narrative, and that's the main driver in the markets.
yeah, now it's
But
gonna.
right now, I would not even take this short. I wouldn't even take this long. You're playing in the middle of the range, right? It's not really worth it. It's better just to wait it out a bit, and then once it reaches your zone or your interest, your price interest, that's when you execute. Again, like as scalpers, a lot of scalpers, what I've learned is like you don't need to take every single trade that is out there, right? Like no matter how confident you are or like how ballsy you are, or if you're on a winning streak, um, there's really no reason to take every single trade out there. You take the ones that have the high setup, so like that has the highest possibility of it actually working out. Um, but if anybody does want to short, right, like we are breaking below this block, you could potentially take a short from here, um, have your stop loss above this candle, and you could be targeting 89,500. For me, it's this trade isn't even worth it because it doesn't meet my parameters of 1 to 3 risk to reward. But if someone else they want to take a scalp, then it could. This is a quick scalp. It's already playing out. Price came, it retested, and we're moving lower.
Yeah, okay. So, we discussed the price action for now. We were thinking
Mhm.
about looking into like very short time frame trades, right? But I'm not really sure that we should just start it now because we didn't have that much time. But maybe we can do just like separate session only for short-term trading and choosing the day
Yeah.
when we will have volume, most probably based on the data that you are looking for.
So we could have so the next live session that we do, instead of covering, like going from the higher time frame to the lower time frames, we could have it just on the lower time frame. So like on the 5 minute, 15 minute, and then going into the 1 minute to execute. So we could do that. Um, but for now, I could stay another 30, 40 minutes. I don't mind. In 10 minutes, we have the consumer sentiment that's releasing. So once that releases with the chat, we could look and see what the numbers came out, and then I could kind of give like what I'm expecting from the markets based on the numbers that have been released.
Okay, so
Right.
let's just discuss then the expectation on that data, and if we have other questions, we can cover them. Also, did anybody do another screenshot for this specific time frame here or not? Because we can try to use also, yeah. So can you send what it said about this time frame here? Like, what kind of trade do you, like, if you can get the answer you want to have, it's basically the question, like, what trade is good to do with this chart or something like that. Or like, give me one, two, or like give me several options for long and several options for short. And another important thing that usually on average the best trade it tells you, it's not the aggressive one, it's the safest one. On the previous our discussions, when we were trying to test out how it works, almost every time it went by the safest route because it's
Safest.
market. Yeah,
Yeah.
because when you try to force the trade at the moment, uh, you most probably will have the biggest amount of problematic data messing up with the things that coming, and you will need to have a bit of like leeway, and that's why when it giving you the possibility to go with uh, like time and setting up, as Ajay said, basically like price range which really fits the market, it gives the possibility for the good trade. If you are trying to enter the moment you want to enter, it's not always the best time, just because it you basically forcing AI to make something that can go against the market, and going against the market doesn't mean that it goes well.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, so you guys send that in. In the meantime, I'll also give my trade ideas as well. Okay, so going into the consumer report, so we are already expecting price to be digging deep into 89,200. You okay? So we have created this order block that's in December, right? So on the 3rd of January, we broke out of this order block, we retested it, and then we made the move up, right? This entire move and this entire move down, this is a 50% correction of the move up, right? So like price, it doesn't just move up, doesn't just move down. You need to have sellers that are going to liquidate the buyers' positions in order for them to make profit. So it works, buyers and sellers, they work hand in hand, right? So my trade ideas that I am going to be looking for, especially for the new week, is you could, this is a high risk, high reward trade. So look into getting longs around 89,500, 89,250 to target all the way back to 94K. So that's high risk, high reward. Obviously, it's not going to be 1 to 6, it has to be lower. So 1 to 5 risk to reward, right? So, like, even if you lose here, knowing what your risk to reward is, for me, it's worth it. So even if I take this loss over here, it won't really affect me mentally because I know the outcome is 5 times bigger than what my loss is going to be. So that is one trade idea. If you want to take medium entry, so medium risk to reward, um, wait for the consumer sentiment report to come out, see what the data is. If it supports longs, you could take a long above 98.50. right? With your stop loss below 92.50, targeting back to 94K. Another 1 to 4 risk to reward. The safest route that you could take is wait for all of this to be done. So we're in consolidation, right? So just wait it out, right? So like price can easily come here, come here, come here, and then for the new week start building up. So this is what I'm mainly waiting for, is to take this safe trade idea. Once we have a closure back above 91,500, we can then say the market is done doing the pullback. So the pullback phase is done. Market has consolidated. Orders have been put in. And we start shifting out of this bearish structure back into bullish structure. And then we could take another long that's above here. So let me get rid of some of these, make it cleaner. Yeah. So the setups that I'm currently proposing, just so no one is clear. The first one was the short, which I didn't take. It didn't really meet my risk parameters. It's only 1 to 2. It was short below 92.50, target 89.250, 89.500. Then the first trade idea I have is long from 89.300, so roughly 89.500, 89.250 in the middle. Stop loss below 88.450, targeting back to 94K. That's high risk, high reward. Medium risk, medium reward is going to be closure. So once this candle makes its lower, the next candle, which is in 1 hour, 3 minutes, the next 4 hour candle, it engulfs this one. So it completely reverses, um, shows bolts are back in, and then we can start taking longs at 9,800. The safest route that I would suggest everyone in this chat, and it's a 1 to 3 risk to reward, it matches everything perfectly, is to take longs above 91,500, targeting back to 94K. So those are my trade ideas for the lower time frame. Yeah, so the first one, so it's TrueAI saying, so basically the same thing that I kind of just marked over here. Price goes back to 91,500. We failed to close above. You take an entry here, targeting back to 89,500. Mm-hmm. That's the same trade ideas. That's one. Look at this. Short below, short below 92.50. Stop loss at 9,700. Take profit at 89,500. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, same similar trade idea. Yeah. Yep. My numbers are usually so like I like to get my entries around the flat numbers. So like right now, so it's 89K, 89 250, 89 500, 89 750, 90K. I like flat numbers, so like that's where I look for my entries. But yeah, it's nice to see. It adds like confluence to your trade ideas, right? So like you already have your trade ideas. Then you could go into TrueAI, ask the question, and then if it gives you the same trade ideas as you had originally, now it gives you that boost of confidence to actually go ahead and execute it. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, hmm, yep. Going back to data, it's 10 a.m. Consumer sentiment has just been released. And like we were saying at the start of our call, 53.5 is the forecast. That actually came out like we were expecting. It came out at 54 on the dot. I don't know. It kind of baffles my mind sometimes. Sometimes I'll say like I'll put out some figures or I'll say some numbers, and then it comes out at the exact number, and then I don't know. It kind of just fascinates me. But yeah, so the consumer sentiment it came out at 54, so it's above the forecast. This is actually going to help dollar again, so it's going to boost the dollar outflows from risk assets. But we can see there are going to be whipsaw moves, right? So like we have data clashing each other. Anytime data clashes each other, you have the whipsaw moves, and positions get taken out. People start longing early, they start shorting early, and all those positions they get wrecked, right? So like um, again, like why I was saying this trade isn't even worth it is nothing really even happened with the short, right? Like we're still in the same range. Nothing is happening. There's no point of taking advantage of this. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people they pull the trigger first. Yeah, it is. Like you need to understand like what each report means, how much impact that they're gonna have, which report is gonna have hold more weight than the other, and which direction we're gonna go in, right? So we know coming from this report, even though if we're making this push up, we as traders, we should know that this report is actually conflicting with the price action. So it conflicts with this green candle up. It shouldn't be going up, right? That shows that the market is making a liquidity grab before moving down. The report came out at 54. It's above the 50 grade point. It's in expansion territory. It's good for USD. It's bad for risk assets. So price, it's going to push up, grab liquidity, and then start pushing down. And then we have our higher time frame range lows at 89 400. So technically, it should chug all the way down to 89 400, which it's starting to do. Yeah, it's happening live. Yeah, so like I told the guy, like you could short here 92.50. You could have shorted like we had how many retests? One retest, two retest, three retest, right? Like we told you, you could have shorted, but you need to ask yourself, is it worth it? It's a 1 to 2 risk to reward. For me, it's not worth it. Even though I know price is going to go there, it's just not worth it for me to take because it's not 1 to 3 risk to reward. So, like as traders, once you get like a bit of experience and once you actually start treating trading like a business and you know you want to make money out of, you start to realize that you don't need to take every single setup that there is. You need to have your set conditions. You need to have your trading plan. Um, and if that trade idea doesn't match your trading conditions or your trading plan, you just don't execute. For some, this would have been a great short, right? So like some people they only target 1 to 2, but for me, I target 1 to 3. For me, it's not worth it, but for someone else, this could be a lot of money on the table. Mhm. It is. And plus, like going back to the very start, somebody asked me like how I have a 80% win rate is because of this reason, right? Like I know price is going to go down. I can enter that short, but it doesn't match my trading plan. It doesn't match the 1 to 3. So I'm just not going to execute. I only execute at the very key levels that I map out. If the price is not at that key level, I simply just don't take the trade, and in return, that's why I have a high win rate versus like a low win rate. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. So next week, let's set up and we'll try to set up in like the middle of the week, not the end of the week. Um, yeah, me and you will talk about that. Yeah. And again, we had none of this planned out. We started from a blank screen. Someone is typing. But no, No, they're not. Honestly, they're not important at all. You can look at order book flows and liquidation heat maps all day long, but liquidation heat maps, they're subject to change at any given point, right? Like if I were to go add in a major buy order, that's going to show up on the liquidation heat map then, right? But they're subject to change at any given point. Uh, with trading, you want to keep it as simple as you can. Don't try to add more stuff to it, right? Like the less that you're looking at, the more confidence that you're going to have. Sometimes in life, less is more. Yeah, so I am using True. So what I do is like I do my analysis. I do my risk to reward. So I do my setups, and then afterwards I will go into True AI, and then I'll ask for True's opinion. And then if it matches up with my opinion, it kind of just gives me again that confidence boost, that okay, my trade idea is good. It will work out. There's confluence to it. So I am using TrueAI. Yeah, so like being a trader, I do my own analysis and then I check in with TrueAI as well. Yeah, yeah. Approach is different. Yes. Like for me, I just use it to add that confluence. Other people they can use it to generate trade ideas. For me, I like to generate my own trade ideas and then put it in there and ask what it thinks about my ideas. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And something that we could do in our next live session, if you guys have any alts that you want me to analyze or True AI to analyze, you could like maybe drop it in the chat. In the next live session that we have, we could also look at other altcoins if you guys want and give trade ideas on those coins. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Before I do the stream, I kind of want to give like a trade idea on Ethereum because I think Ethereum is actually sitting at a very sweet spot, right? So like Ethereum is currently retesting this order block that we broke out from. If in the next 45 minutes we don't close below 30.50, take a high risk, high reward long from here. Take it and then have your stop loss set around 3K and you could look to target 31.75. So 1 to 2 risk to reward, if you want to take it. If you want to wait it out, since the weekend is coming up, um, I would suggest not to trade weekends um, on Monday. If price were to come and close back above 31.25, this will be an extremely good trade. You could look to target all the way back to 3,300. It's a 1 to 5 risk to reward. So just keep this in mind on Ethereum. Um, Set your alerts, see where the weekly closes, and when the new weekly candle opens up, um, look and see, look to try to get into these trades because they do have a good setup. Yeah, in the next hour, just look like in the next 45 minutes, if this candle fails to break below 30.50 and close below 30.50, and the next candle, so 11 a.m. candle, it comes and retests the same exact price point, look to get into high risk, high reward entries. If you want to look into low risk, just wait it out until we close above 31.50 and then look to get in. If we have intraday candle closures, so say 1 hour candle, 2 hour candle below 30.50, then this trade idea is invalid. And you could look, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, it does. That's what kind of makes it and breaks it. Is like if this candle closes below 30.50 within the next 40 minutes, this trade idea is not valid anymore. Why? Because we're going to see that price is actually starting to close below this range again. And then instead of taking a long, short makes sense. So like sometimes you can have longs and shorts at the same price, but try to stick to one bias. Don't have like two biases. Just stick to one. So stick to this one that if we don't break below in the next 40 minutes, look to get into a long at 30.60. If it does break below, it invalidates and you just don't look for any more trade ideas. Yeah, space. No worries. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.